If you have just come over from my social media platforms, others, welcome. We left Gary. It's my page of cups is called Gary now. Contemplating his future while clutching his emotional support cup. And then another page appeared. So let us see whether somebody's finally ready to build something or whether Gary has simply brought us a fucking PowerPoint presentation containing all of his options. Okay, let us go back briefly here to the Page of Swords clarified with the Five of Pentacles in reverse, because I think this pair tells us why we've reached this point. The Page of Swords thinks and watches and analyzes, tries to understand, sometimes communicates, but page energy is very immature. And I keep coming back to communication here because something has clearly not been properly expressed. Maybe somebody didn't say how they felt. Maybe somebody avoided a conversation. Maybe they communicated badly. Maybe they watched a situation deteriorate while internally thinking 17,000 things and externally saying approximately fuck all. And now, the Five of Pentacles in reverse. They were left out in the cold and they want back in. This is recovery after separation, isolation, rejection, or hardship. And it can be somebody recognizing that they do not actually want to remain disconnected. So yes, I absolutely think somebody may consider communication or reconnection here. But I am not going to immediately tell you that this means reconciliation, because wanting back through the door and being capable of behaving differently once you get inside are two completely different things. And I think that distinction is what matters enormously in this reading, because remember where we started. Two of Wands. Somebody is looking at the future. They do have a choice. The Page of Cups. There are feelings attached to that choice. Lovely. Congratulations, Gary. You have successfully experienced an emotion. Would you like a certificate for it? Okay. What are you going to do about it though? Because that's where I think people get trapped in these love readings. Someone can love you, someone can miss you, someone can regret losing you, someone can lie awake thinking about you every night. But none of those things automatically mean they're capable of giving you a healthy relationship. Yeah, feelings get acknowledged, behavior gets judged, and potential does not get promoted to facts. So let us judge the behavior. The Three of Pentacles clarified with the Seven of Cups. Interesting, because the Three of Pentacles is about collaboration. It is about working together, building mutual effort, actually creating something with another person. And that's exactly what you want to see after all these pages. Finally, a card that understands relationships require participation. But then the Seven of Cups clarifies it. Options, confusion, fantasy, possibilities, not necessarily knowing what you want. And oh dear, Gary, you were doing so well for approximately 4 seconds. Because somebody might genuinely want to build something, but do they know what it is? That's the question. Are they ready to work with another person, or are they still standing there contemplating 17 possible futures and committing to precisely none of them? The Seven of Cups can get completely lost in potential. What if I choose this? What if I choose that? What if something better comes along? What if I commit and I regret it? What if I do not commit and regret that? Sir, eventually you have to pick up a fucking cup. And this is particularly interesting because our first card was the Two of Wands. Choice. And then we end with the Seven of Cups. Choice. So the entire reading is bookended by someone needing to decide what they actually want. And I think that's the problem. The feelings might not be the problem here. The Page of Cups says there's emotion, and the Page of Swords says somebody certainly has been thinking, and the Five of Pentacles reverse suggests they may not want this separation anymore. The Three of Pentacles here says, yeah, there's potential to build something, and the Seven of Cups says somebody has to get clear. You cannot ask somebody to build a relationship with you while you are still browsing the fucking catalogue. And now we need to talk about what is underneath this deck. The Emperor, the Nine of Pentacles, and well. Because there is the Standard. The Nine of Pentacles, she's independent, secure, self-sufficient. She's built her own life. She knows her worth. She is not sitting at home staring at a phone waiting for somebody to finally choose her. She's got shit to do, you know. And I think this is really important for whoever is on the receiving end of all this page energy. You do not need that person to choose you. Maybe you once felt like you did. Maybe once you were willing to wait while they figured themselves out. Maybe once a Page of Cups message would have been enough to pull you straight back into the situation. But the Nine of Pentacles energy says something has changed. You've built something without them. You've discovered that your life continues without them. Yeah, you may still love them. You may still want them. But wanting somebody and needing them are completely different energies. And that changes this entire dynamic. Because now, if Gary arrives with his little cup saying, I miss you, you can say, lovely. What else? Not because you're cold and not because you're punishing them, but because feelings are just no longer enough. And then we have the Emperor. Now, you know, my relationship with this man. He can be rigid, controlling, and egotistical. And in the Rider-Waite-Smith deck, he has that little side eye. Like everybody in the room is disappointed in personally. But the healthy Emperor, he steps up. He takes responsibility. He creates structure and safety. He knows what he wants and he acts accordingly. And that is what I think somebody needs to become if they want access to our Nine of Pentacles. Stop approaching her as a page. You have Page of Cups feelings, fine. You have Page of Swords thoughts, wonderful. But what she needs is Emperor action. She doesn't need another emotional breadcrumb. She does not need somebody watching her from a distance. She does not need somebody spending 6 months wondering whether to send a hey stranger and whether that might just seem too keen. She needs somebody capable of saying, this is what I want, this is what I'm offering, and this is what I'm prepared to do to build that. That is the Emperor. And actually, that is where this Three of Pentacles becomes really important. Because the Emperor just can't simply arrive and dictate everything either. The Three of Pentacles requires collaboration. Two people building. So if there's somebody returning from the Five of Pentacles, they just can't simply announce that they want another chance and expect the Nine of Pentacles to rearrange her entire bloody life around that. They have to meet her. They have to work with her. Listen, build, and get very clear about what they actually want. Transparency. Seven of Cups energy will destroy this opportunity. This energy, this will destroy the opportunity. If you consistently remain in this indecisive energy. You can't build something substantial while constantly wondering whether another cup might contain something better. And perhaps that's the uncomfortable part for whoever this reading belongs to. Maybe somebody did lose something valuable because they just couldn't decide. And maybe they assumed this Nine of Pentacles energy would always wait. And maybe they thought they had endless times. Maybe they kept their options open. And then one day they looked up and realised the woman they left waiting has built an entire fucking life without them. And now suddenly the Five of Pentacles doesn't feel quite so comfortable. And I think this is where we need to be careful not to romanticize a return. Because, yeah, somebody may want back in. But missing the warmth after you choose to stand outside doesn't automatically qualify you for another key. You have to show what's changed. You have to learn to communicate. Have you made a decision? Have you actually decided you're ready to collaborate? Can you offer consistency? Have you simply become uncomfortable with the consequences of your own avoidance? They're really different things. And for the Nine of Pentacles person watching this, I want to say something really clearly. You're not stupid if you still love them. You're not weak if part of you still hopes they step up. But stop dating the person they could become and look at the person who's actually standing in front of you. If our little Gary arrives as an Emperor, great. Let their behaviour prove it. But if he turns up holding his little cup with his little fish in it, watches you like the Page of Swords here, tells you he's confused by his 7 cups and then asks you to wait while he figures himself out again. No, absolutely fucking not. We've completed that season. Netflix cancelled it. There's not going to be a renewal. And that is where I think this reading ends. There is potential for somebody to come out of separation. There are feelings. There is thoughts. There is even potential to build. But somebody has a decision to make here. If they want the Nine of Pentacles, they need to stop behaving like the Page and step into this Emperor. Because she is not wanting or waiting. No, she is wanting, sorry. But she isn't waiting to be chosen anymore. She's deciding whether you deserve to be chosen by her. Gary, whoever you are, it's your move.